All right, so we're running slightly behind schedule for our public hearing for the zoning bylaw changes, but I'm gonna call the public hearing to order. We have Kristen Leahy, who's our zoning administrator here, and we're just gonna maybe talk through briefly what the changes are. There are actually not that many, at least
No.
I didn't think there were.
No.
So,
No.
you wanna
Do you
fire
want me to
away?
Fire away? Okay, and Sherry can definitely, she's on the planning commission, I'm the zoning administrator, so there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
We
there.
got Sherry Cornish here
Yeah.
as well.
So this is, as you pointed out, is not a large group of changes. There are several grants that are being looked at to potentially bring in some larger groups of changes, but this is kind of the mini step.
Yeah.
So they start, one of the proposed changes is the compact residential district, which surrounds your village neighborhoods and your central and your business districts are in the main Hardwick and East Hardwick, and then compact residential kind of surrounds that. So one of the suggestions was adding the conditional use of restaurant.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing more requests for something like that could be at a farm, etc. So it's not the whole district, it's not the whole town, it's just that one district. The second one was so the next one is the rural residential district, which is most of the rest of the town, and adding mixed use, which allows them to do multiple things, not just have a single family house, but have a single family house and a business on the same piece of property, and restaurant. So the restaurant was suggested for 2 different districts, because right now it's only in the very centers. So a little more flexibility for looking at future economic development. The third section was accessory dwelling, which is, you hear this a lot about, information about this for housing. It's something that we already allow in the state, in Hardwick. It is required, you're required to allow it by statute in the state of Vermont. Vermont changed their statute to say that it needs to be a minimum of 900, maximum of 900 square feet, sorry. We have 800 square feet, so we're proposing to change that. It also, the way that the section read, it read that you had to live in the owner had to live in the single family dwelling. We changed it so that it was an owner occupied lot, so the owner could either live in the smaller accessory dwelling or in the larger building, which gives a little more flexibility. If you have a single person who wants to rent out their entire house, but they have an accessory dwelling, they're allowed to do so and continue to be that category, that use. And the third proposed change was to move the setback requirements from principal structure to accessory structure. We have 2 different sets of setbacks in the town. We have principal structure, accessory structure. Accessory structure is a little bit closer to the line. These are smaller structures. They're no larger than 900 square feet. So that the proposal was to give a little more flexibility to homeowners by allowing them to be a little closer to the setback lines, to the property lines. And then the last one was a recommendation to change the boundary for the highway mixed use district. The highway mixed use district mostly follows along the 14, 15, 16. But when you get down towards Atkins Field, we're recommending that it follow the traditional the old rail line, going from Wolcott Street back to Ken Davis's sand pit, log yard. Yeah, log yard, sorry. So going through Atkins Field. That section, is it just Atkins Field that is being recommended for the downtown designation? And it doesn't follow the automobile thoroughfares of 15, 14, or 16, but it does follow the original historical. And that's the proposal.
Yeah. Just that all sounds.
It's not a large amount.
Yeah.
No.
All makes sense.
I did
Yes.
have one question.
Sure.
And that has to do with the section 4.2 accessory dwelling.
Yep,
I hadn't thought about this, but this is a hypothetical.
sure.
I have a garage
Yep,
that has 3 stories.
yep,
2 of them, if they had water, would be livable,
Mm-hmm.
and they fall in with this, into this.
okay.
Would this restrict somebody from taking that building and creating 2 apartments, one on the ground floor on
No,
Rush Street and one on
They-
the ground floor on Riverside Terrace?
no, you could still do that. The difference is that an accessory dwelling is a permitted use. It comes to me 15 days later, as long as they meet all the different aspects, they have their permit. Building 2 apartments in a lot of the districts is a conditional use and requires going to the DRB, and it takes a little bit longer. You can continue to have as many apartments as you wanted in that. It's just, this is another way to be able to build something that
Well,
you can use.
where I stopped was the first word, which says one attached or detached dwelling. You know, if I put 2 apartments in there, I've got 2.
Right. You've got 2. So you could have, I mean, theoretically, you could put one in, call it your accessory dwelling, and you could have another one and you could call that your another apartment. I'd have to see it. It's too theoretical at this point. It doesn't preclude you doing that.
It doesn't preclude anybody's
No,
doing
doesn't
that.
preclude.
But this is, so just to get back to what you were saying, so this makes this, we're talking about an accessory dwelling unit that's just a permitted use. So we have other conditional uses that are allowed, you just have to go ask for permission.
You have to ask
Yeah.
permission.
Yeah.
So this is just,
Well, not only do you ask permission, you have conditions put on.
You can,
you could, yeah, you could have
Yes.
conditions put on your permit.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
You ever got one without conditions?
No,
My conditions have been fair, always.
good.
But they're
There's
different.
Yeah, well,
Danny,
that's- I
there's
mean-
always at least 2 conditions.
there should be.
And
Yeah, I
they're
agree.
they're usually requiring you to make sure you have the right permits and making sure
Right.
that you're
And they-
meeting the performance
And they also
standards.
often address concerns of other folks.
Oh,
They
okay.
can, yeah,
Yeah.
Like I saw in one of the ones recently, that they couldn't have no outdoor lighting spotlights or anything,
yeah,
Huh.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's part of that's
Yeah.
condition too.
yeah.
You gotta deal with an issue, it's your obligation to
Theoretically.
be nice to your neighbors.
And to listen to them.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, so,
You know, the planning commission was, you know, there's such a lack of housing.
Right.
And the opportunity that this would present to people who maybe are living in a big house and they don't
Right.
necessarily, they don't want to leave their property, but they could have an income property and then move into the tiny house or vice
Right,
versa.
they wouldn't need the big house
Right.
necessarily.
It
Gives
depends,
that
yeah.
flexibility on a
It just-
permitted use
It gives more
basis.
options.
right.
So do we vote on
Do a
this? It's
little
just a
development.
hearing today.
You are gonna need to ask to adjust your agenda tonight and vote on it tonight if you could. That'd be great.
Okay.
But I
It's all you and,
didn't get it on your
And
agenda.
we have
Sorry.
yeah, wasn't there a resolution and everything all?
yeah, quite, we killed a couple of trees.
Is it
this week.
this? Could we use
I'm,
this?
I know, I'm sorry for those trees.
Yeah. You just, yeah, just
It's Barlow.
vote to
It's recycled picnics.
accept them as proposed.
These ain't yours, these ain't yours.
So I get agitated, I get worried that there's gonna be too many people and not enough copies, you know, so I always overdo it.
Yeah. That's fine.
So could someone remind me of the process? So we've got a public hearing.
You have a public
we
hearing,
vote
you're
on
gonna-
it, and then isn't there another like period of time after that?
No, there's
Yeah.
there might be a period of time before it gets adopted, like a 30-day, but you
Right.
don't have to do anything else.
Right.
You just have to,
But there's a time, if people miss this and we're really excited about it, is there a time to come back?
I don't know about that, I've never had anyone do
Yeah.
that. But
I don't
mean,
remember. That's what I'm asking. Okay,
sure.
we don't know.
I will find that.
We'll find out.
I will find that in the
If
next
it
10
takes,
minutes.
if it takes
How's that?
effect, yeah, sounds good.
And I bet Dave thought it was at 6.
And if this is item 6, she has till 7:30.
Oh, jeez. Wait till it.
Oh, you want to make this item 1 then?
No, I mean, Gary Nolan, item 1, when we get there.
How are you?
What's going on? You got people.
People are rolling in.
Here he comes.
Hi.
Uh-oh.
He missed it. It's like 5:30.
So we're still, we haven't quite,
They go at 6:30.
We don't want us to do it again.
He was. I discovered.
Oh, good, you did.
They did the games at 5:30.
No offense, but
all right. So
I
think-
can't find it,
Yeah,
but.
That's okay.
What you need?
That's all right. So
Is there a time
I think,
appeal period after they do adoption?
that's terrible.
I think we can probably close the public hearing.
Yes, you definitely can go to
So
Apologize.
let's adjourn the public hearing and then we have
Ask Opie how the town
8
fair day
minutes
was.
before our
Sophie
select board
likes it.
meeting. Yeah.
He's been at town fair all day.
No, he's been skiing at Killington.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
On what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just asking what he's
They
learning.
always have snow.
Yeah, no, I muddled through.
Okay.
I kept waiting for you. I was like,
You guys had a slightly smaller
I don't
crowd
want-
than
wasn't-
Marshall Planning Commission has, their zoning change meeting.
Oh, did they have a few people show up?
It was over 140.
where was this?
Spirited discussion, I bet.
Where was
too.
this?
Morrisville.
Oh, yeah. Well, you guys have all that controversy going on.
We handled all that for you, so that we were packed and everything, but we answered all.
You
the
guys
questions.
took care of it for us.
Oh,
Thank
We
you.
covered it,
yeah,
yeah.
That's fine, thank you, David, that's
You wanna
good.
move to Morrisville?
We have adjourned, we've closed it, yeah.
Okay.
Morrisville's definitely getting a lot of discussion these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, okay.
Yeah, it goes to the